Citrus Tree. Once, long ago, in a village called Leboko, lived a king who only had one child. When the king was very old, he called his daughter and told her, "My daughter, it is time for you to find a husband." So the princess went out to find a wise old woman to ask for her advice. "My princess," the wise woman said, "look for an honest young man who will always tell the truth." So the princess sent the fastest runner to all the villages around. The message said, "When the next full moon is big and bright, young men can come meet our beautiful princess at the palace of Leboko. The princess wishes to find a husband." Off went the runners, east, west, north, and south, to spread the princess's message. Lisedi, a young man who swept floors at the palace, heard the news and made up his mind to attend and meet the princess. The next time the moon was big and bright, Lisedi arrived at the palace. He found men that were big, men that were small, men that were tall, men that were short, and smiling men and men with worried faces, all there to meet the princess. The princess arrived and spoke to them. "Each man will receive a pot and a seed from a tree. Go home and plant the seed in the pot. Then wait for 6 months. The first time that the new moon climbs the sky after that, return to the palace with your pot. Then I will choose my husband." Surely the princess will choose the man who grows the healthiest and biggest tree to be her husband. The men all whispered to one another. Lisedi took his pot and seed back home. His mother, who was a good gardener, showed him where to find the best soil and how deep to plant the seed, and so Lisedi did as she advised. He put his pot in a sunny place, then a shady place, and watered it a little every day. He said a prayer each night before he went to bed, but nothing happened. No tiny tree appeared. After 6 months, Lesedi waited sadly for the new moon to climb the sky. He walked slowly to the palace, carrying his pot of soil without anything growing in it. All the men were waiting at the palace, each holding a pot, and in each pot there were trees. Only Lesedi held a pot without a tree. All the men laughed and whispered to each other, No way will the princess choose Lassie to be her husband. There is not even a tiny tree in his pot. Only the king, the wise woman, and Lassie were silent. Soon the princess arrived. This time she talked to each man in turn, and she looked carefully at each tree. At last, at the end of the long line, the princess came to Lassie. Gently taking his pot from his hand, she held it up for everyone to see. "This is the man I will marry, and no other," declared the princess. "Lassie has proved that he is honest." Before you receive the seeds, for a day and a half, this wise woman boiled them in her big black cooking pot. That meant that nothing could grow from the seeds. All the seeds were dead. Lassie has brought a pot with no tree. He is the only one who did not cheat by using my seeds and not their own. He is honest," she exclaimed. 3 days later, many people came for the wedding feast. All night long they danced to the beat of the drum. Lassie and the princess fell in love, and they lived happily ever after. It is always best to be honest, just like Lassie.